let's look at where we're at and where we're going. By now, hopefully you've made your first sale on your webinar. If not, it's bound to come very soon, perhaps on your next webinar. Before that, you've done everything. You went into the market opportunity map. You found out a great area, a micro niche. You've then gone and built a landing page. You've then created your 3-part video series, gone on social media, sent people there, collected their email addresses, and then warmed them up with your autoresponder sequence. You've got them to attend your webinar, and you've sold your low-cost product. You are doing amazing, and you now have a business. Now it's time to scale it. And I'm talking 10x, 100x, 1,000x. I used to be where you are when I sold my very first product, and now I've ramped it up 100-fold. It is very easy to do once you have the pieces in place. And so now I want to talk about really growing your network and growing your audience. Super important to do to get to the next level. It's best to do this with the help of others. You can only do so much yourself. There is a saying that your network is your net worth. And this couldn't be more true than really anything I've ever heard. And if you look at London Real, I've built relationships with over 400 people over the past many years through having them in the studio and through doing collaborations and making content with them. And they really are my network, and my net worth scales accordingly. So now it's time for you really to look down to all of the people that you know in your life. And most of us think, I really don't know that many important people. I know a few here, a few there. But you really probably have hundreds, if not thousands of connections that can be very useful to you. Now, some of you would have sold your first products on your webinars to what we call loose ties. These are people, sometimes Facebook friends, that you don't really know that well. Maybe you've never met, but you've kind of collected them over the years. And today I'm going to talk about how we can lever them, reach out to influencers, gatekeepers, etc. So let's get into this now. I want to talk about your network map. And I want you to go ahead and open up a spreadsheet in Google Docs, and I want you to really start writing down names. And the most important thing here is to get all of the contacts that you think can be useful to you down on this sheet, and then we can have an action item next to each cell about what this person could be for you. Now let's start off with your friends and family. This is a basic thing. All the different family, extended family members, and people that you see on a regular basis as your friends. Write all of their names down, and next to them, write different ways that they might be able to help with your business. Maybe they'll be a customer. Maybe they can introduce you to someone. Maybe they can help you with, say, a camera or some other service that they might be able to help you do, and just really write a list down. It's really about reaching out to these people and harnessing their help. So go ahead and do that. Again, the more exhaustive the list is better, and we can go ahead and contact these people over the next weeks and even months and get them to help you with your business. Again, it's that one person that's out there that can help really 5 or 10x your business with something very easy that they can do. And a lot of times they really want to help you succeed. So write down those right now. You can also go into your contact list on your email, in your Gmail. You can look at all your Facebook friends. You can go in your LinkedIn profile and really list every single person there and in any way that they can help you. And worst case, they could always be a customer for one of your products, so they can all help you in some way. So go ahead and list those out. This will be a breathing, living document that you can use for the whole course of your business. So don't be afraid to leave some spots open where you can add some people later. But again, do your friends and family now and get them all down. Next, I want to talk about this concept of weak ties. And this is really, really important. And it's something we don't think about much, but it's actually your weak ties that will be the most help to you. And when I say a weak tie, it's someone that you might have met once or twice over the past 5 or 10 years, but you wouldn't consider them a close friend or a colleague. You might think that they don't remember you. You might not see them on a regular basis, but they have some type of a weak connection to you. And a lot of times it's these people that are your first customers on webinars that actually happen to know a key person of influence they can put you in touch with. So it's really important to go ahead and get all of those weak ties down on paper. And those people, again, are going to be your Facebook friends, the LinkedIn people, and those people are a huge resource. And let me tell you a little bit of story about a weak tie that landed something amazing here on London Real. And it was actually one of our interns. And it was someone that was just doing some peripheral work for London Real. We really didn't know that well, but this person had actually trained in Birmingham with Dorian Yates at his gym. And as an aside one day, when he heard us talking and brainstorming about guests, he said, hey, I know this guy, Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia. Would you like him on the show? And I think I said something like, I don't know, it doesn't sound that interesting to me. Because again, it was kind of a weak tie, and I never thought of him as introducing our most popular guest on London Real. But we listened to him a bit more. His name was Diego, as I can remember. And he went ahead and made the introduction to Dorian, and we spoke to him, and he came down to London Real and became our most popular guest ever. And that came from a weak tie. So who is your Diego in your network that might know a super important person in your sphere that can make that introduction? And maybe that person, you do a piece of media with them. Maybe you do a collaboration on a business idea. Maybe you write something together, or maybe you just meet and talk about something in the future. Super important about those weak ties. And let me take that weak tie story one step further. After we ended up filming 2 episodes with Dorian Yates and filming our first feature-length documentary movie with Dorian, another weak tie, which was me in the network of Tim Ferriss, who's the author of The 4-Hour Body, The 4-Hour Chef, Tools of Titans. He knew me because he was once a guest on London Real, but again, I'm probably a weak tie in his network. I've met Tim a few times. We don't hang out on a regular basis. I don't call him on a regular basis. But when he saw us release the documentary film with Dorian Yates, he reached out to me and said, Brian, can I please have Dorian on my podcast, The Tim Ferriss Show? Would you make the introduction to me? And I said, sure, of course. And I introduced them, and he interviewed Dorian on the show, and Dorian spoke all about the movie that we made together, and we got tons of traffic on the back of it. Again, a great example of a weak tie, something that Tim would have probably thought, oh, that guy from London Real, I still remember Brian. Yeah, that's cool. But I never would have thought he would have given me one of my shows on my podcast. But it was actually a weak tie that ended up being very valuable for Tim. So again, really go through your list of all of these possible people on Facebook, all of these email addresses. You can do a dump on Outlook or on Gmail and go through each email and say, how do I know this person? Maybe I can reach out to them. Maybe I can send a general email to 100 of these people that say, hey, I just started this new business. Come check out my website. If you want, you can sign up for my video series. Do you know anybody in my micro niche that might be able to help? If so, I would love to give you a free this, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a super important concept, the weak ties. Now, let's talk about you reaching out to people that can really help you, all right? And here I want to talk about blogs, and I want to talk about influencers and gatekeepers. Now, these days, there are very popular blogs that really cover micro niches, and they talk about different things in micro niches. There's ones for fitness, for movement, for entrepreneurship, for basket weaving. They're all out there, and it's important that you identify the 3 major blogs in your area, and you're going to want to reach out to them. And you really want to identify them and go to them with some ideas of content you can produce for them. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about that in the next section, exactly how to contact them. But find out the ones that people talk about most and get them on your radar, because we're going to reach out to them next, and hopefully you're going to become a guest blogger for them and harness the audience and also get you more practice at blogging. So it's important that you seek those out and find those right now in your micro niche. The second thing I want to talk about is influencers. Influencers are people in your micro niche that your customers know as the person in that space. They listen to them, they watch their videos, they buy their products, and they're very important to you. You want to reach out to this influencer because they can help you scale your business much faster than all of the work you can do on your own. And a great example of me reaching out to an influencer, well, I pretty much do it every single week on London Real because we have important people on the show that have their own audience that we then kind of interact with and piggyback on the back. But one of the great examples is Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, reached out to him and had him on the show. Now, of course, Dan brings his own ideas, his own IP, his own way of looking at the world to my network. And then, of course, when he's on my show, he brings London Real into his network. And so that's a great example of kind of an influencer reaching out to another influencer. And what Dan and I have created is an amazing synergy. And I've heard it from people all the time. They said, Dan on his own is just a crazy old ranting man in Scotland. London Real on his own is a place that kind of interviews shows. When you put the two of us together, you've got kind of a mentor-mentee relationship that everybody wants to watch. And it actually creates value. It creates views. It creates intrigue. It creates even a plot line and a storyline. And so it's a net positive to both Dan Pena and myself. And so I want you to think about the 3 influencers in your space that you can reach out to, and think about ideas of things you can do that would make it a net positive. Again, don't be a leech. Don't go and just try to pull their audience for them. Think about ideas and collaborations and things that you can bring to the table that maybe they're not so good at. At this point, you're probably very good at making videos, at making vlogs, those kinds of things. They might not be. So you could reach out to them and say, hey, let's create this video together. Let's create part of a video series. We can send your traffic to my webinar. We can split revenues. These are the kind of things you can do with influencers. And finally, I want to talk about gatekeepers. Now, what is a gatekeeper? A gatekeeper is an individual that once you contact them, they actually have an access to a whole array of other people. But without getting through them, you can't get through the gate and get access to that entire audience. So it's very important to identify who those people are. Now, they themselves might not be thought of as influencers, but they are the key to getting you access to the influencers that you want. And a great example of me is contacting Scott Coker. Now, he is the CEO of Bellator, which is a huge mixed martial arts organization. They're a competitor of the UFC. Now, in himself, Scott isn't that famous, but he has access to all the top fighters in Bellator, and some of these fighters are extremely famous. And by inviting Scott on the show and really going out of our way to make an amazing show with him, to build a relationship with Scott, he's now given me access to pretty much every fighter on Bellator's list. And when you see them showing up on London Real, it's no coincidence. The reason that's happened is because we invested the time in Scott, got him on board, he saw the value of what we do, and now he gives us carte blanche for any of his fighters coming through London. In fact, sometimes he calls me up and says, Brian, how would you like this fighter on your show? And I say, yes, I would love that. And we get hundreds of thousands of views on the back of it. So I want you to identify the gatekeepers in your area. And a lot of times it's not obvious who these people are, and you have to hunt around in LinkedIn. Maybe they're an agent. Maybe there's someone who works at one of those blog sites who actually knows a lot of people in your micro niche. But go ahead and try to track those people and find out who they are and reach out to them as well. So what I want you to do, and yes, it's quite a bit of work here, but it's very important that you invest the time here and really go through all of these people and reach out to them and ask for help, because it's that 1 week tie that's going to change your game the same way that Diego changed Dorian Yates with us. So I want you to map out your complete current network on a spreadsheet, on a Google Doc, and I want you to post that doc into the Facebook group. In it, you're going to show me your friends and family. You're going to list your weak ties. You're going to list the blogs you're going to reach out to. You're going to list the influencers you're going to reach out to, and you're going to list the gatekeepers you're going to reach out to. So get set, go in there, really do an exhaustive search here, because I'm telling you, it's that person that you think you might leave out that can really change your business. So let's go now and talk about your complete success blueprint. I want to go back to a few fundamentals that I know you're aware of, but I really want to highlight what's going on here. And first, I want to look at your funnel. And let's look at the aspects of what is in that funnel. Okay? Now, of course, like any great funnel, we start off with your audience. That is at the top. You're seeing those people through social media. They're finding out what's going on with you. Next, of course, we want to bring them to the website. Super important to get them there so we can capture their email information and start having the next conversation, all right? And so when that happens, we start sending out your autoresponder email. They start watching your videos. You get them to the webinar, and finally, we go ahead and make our sales. And so that's a crucial component to understand. You want to keep this going. And of course, the wider that funnel is, the more of your audience actually makes it to your sale page. And so you want to constantly be looking at, iterating, and changing this to where the most people as possible get to actually buy your products. You can change their lives. And so we're going to be talking more about the numbers on this lately. But the reason we're doing this is so we can now start the life cycle of your products. And now I want to show you something about what that looks like. Because you start with your audience. And you started out and you're having conversations, you're finding out what are their pain points, what are their friction points, how can you make their life better? Once you get that information, you create your product. Your product delivers value to that audience, and it could be a free product, could be a low-cost product, could be a prime offering, who knows? But this is always the way to do that. Once you create your product, of course you need to sell it, and you need to get the sales of that product into your audience, collect the revenues, deliver wow, get great testimonials, get feedback, etc. And once that's done, you want to take that revenue from the sales, and yes, you got it exactly. You want to build your audience. And this is the beauty of this life cycle. You don't need capital to get started because by doing this in the first place, you are actually proving your concept. Once you prove that concept, you create the product, create the sales, take the revenue from those sales, build the audience again. And this is exactly what we did with London Real over the years. And let me show you how when we look at our end-to-end ecosystem. And again, you'll be familiar with this drawing. You'll be much more familiar with it now. And of course, at the front, you know, we have your free product, right? And hopefully you continue to create free product, post it on the social media, vlogs, diagrams, suggestions, reviews, blog posts, all sorts of great free content. By now, you've also created your low-cost product. And that right now is on your webinar and you're selling it and you're making people's lives even better. And then of course, at some point, we're gonna create your prime offering, which is your product between $1,000 and $5,000. And of course, finally, at some point in the future, we're gonna have our B2B play, our partnership play, something a little bit bigger when it comes to corporate audience. But all of these product offerings actually are within this product life cycle. So far, you found out who your audience was. You talked to them, you found out their problems. You created the first product, which was your 3-part video series. There were no sales in this iteration, but you've learned from speaking to them what those people wanted, and you then created your low-cost product. And now you've made sales there on your webinar, and now you're gonna take that money and go back in and grow your audience. Maybe you're gonna play with paid traffic on Facebook. Maybe you're just gonna do more of the same. And you're gonna continue this cycle back to more product and more sales. And what you can do now is you can start to think about your prime offering. So you've developed your low-cost product, you've got the sales, you've built your audience, they're still buying your low-cost product. Now you can introduce your prime product, $1,000 to $5,000 in there. Sell that and take those huge revenues and again, build it back into your audience. And you can continue this life cycle over and over and over again. And this is exactly what we did at London Real. I started by building that audience, creating episodes of London Real. It took me quite a while, but I finally created our first product, which was the Academy. London Real Academy was born. We sold it, sold our first 100, sold our first 500, sold our first 700, took those revenues, and what did I do? I invested it in my audience. We went out and we filmed documentary movies. We got brand new lights for the studio. We got brand new cameras. We invested it in getting more audience members. That built our email list, which again, those people started buying more of our products in the form of the Academy. Finally, we decided that we would introduce our first prime offering, and that was the Business Accelerator, our first version. We went ahead and put that into the life cycle, took the sales from there, and continued on this loop. And now we've built the Business Accelerator, we've built the Life Accelerator, we've built the Public Speaking Accelerator, so many different products through this cycle. And again, we've gone from free product to low-cost product to prime product, and now we've even introduced our business-to-business product, where I actually take CEOs and walk them through the perfect interview, and I give them that asset that they can use internally in their company. But we did it all with this life cycle. And so you always want to remember, First, build the audience, listen to them, build the product, sell that product, use that revenue to increase the audience. Again, listen to them some more. What else do they want? They're gonna say, I want something more expensive. I want more of your time, more of your knowledge. Great, you're gonna create the prime product. That will get you more revenues from those sales. And you'll think, what can I do to build my audience? Maybe I'll start my own podcast. Maybe I'll do more video. Maybe I'll just do more social media posts. Maybe I'll pay for some Facebook ads. And this constantly is a loop. And all great companies do this. They constantly iterate. They put it through the cycle. They take their revenues, invest back in the audience, invest back in product sales. And this is your road ahead. And again, you've got your free product. It's out there creating your leads. You've got your low-cost product. Now it's generating sales. Next you want to do is you want to continue selling that low-cost product, build up your revenues. Next, you're going to introduce your prime product. It's going to be a lot like your low-cost product, but bigger, and you're going to be fulfilling more of the needs of your client base. And that's going to become your prime offering, and you're going to take those revenues and build it back into that audience to where pretty soon you're going to have 1,000 emails, 10,000 emails, 100,000 emails that you can send out to. All of these people are going to be looking to you for you to provide value in their life. And this all works together as really a complete business success blueprint. And so many people don't understand that it really is this simple. And again, think of the audience coming to your website, getting the email, and the sales. Those are the fundamental techniques of how to sell online. And if you stick to this, you can build your business as big as you want it to get. And so let's finish off by talking about the specifics of your funnel, because I really think it's important to look at what's going on all the way down to your funnel, because no funnel is perfect. Even at London Real, we still have pieces of this that I'm not happy with. I wish more of my audience on social media would actually come to my website. I wish more of the people would come to my website, would give me their email address, as opposed to jump off and go back to YouTube. And I wish more people that gave me their email address would actually buy my programs like the Business Accelerator and the Life Accelerator. So you can always tighten this process up. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to look at your numbers, because numbers don't lie. So let's go in and look at exactly what your numbers are, because for the longest time, that's all I focused on was my reach. I was obsessed with getting 100,000 YouTube subscribers, but that was just audience. I never thought how it was actually gonna drip down into my sales offering. And so that's why it's important to look at these key metrics. So right now, I want you to take the workbook and I want you to figure out how many people are you reaching? As in, what is your audience? And you can take your social media platforms, you can add those numbers up. You can also take your blog articles, how many people read them. You can take a partnership you did with somebody else. How many people watched that YouTube video? How many people were on that Instagram Live or that Facebook Live? Add all of this up. And again, look everywhere. It could be the reach as your Facebook friends that have read your posts. It could be the reach number they give you on Facebook. But add all that up. And that could be in the hundreds for you. It could be in the thousands. But try to get an idea of all the people, all of the eyeballs that have seen something that you have produced. And let's put that number out there and go ahead and write that up. And it could be 100, it could be 1,000. And let's just go ahead and get an idea for what that is, because ultimately we'll want to increase that. The next number that's super important is how many people have come to your website. And you can get these metrics right from Squarespace, and you can find out how many people have actually come to your landing page over the past, say, 5 weeks that we've been actually doing this. And go ahead and put that number there, and it's probably going to be a lot less. You know, it could be something even as little as 100 or 150. Who knows? It's hard to say. But find out exactly how many people are going there, and right away you'll start to see that there's probably a better way you can get some of those eyeballs to come to your site. You might be able to tell them something different, talk about your 3-part video series, etc. Let's then look at how many people from the website are opting in for your email. How many people get to that landing page and go leave and do something else because it's not that interesting, right? So how many people? What does it drop down to? Is it, say, 75, 50% opt-in rate? That's pretty good. For you, it's probably less because you just started doing this. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's 10. That will tell you a lot right there. Maybe it's time we get a new picture. Maybe it's time we get new opt-in copy. All very, very important. And finally, let's continue going down. What are your email open numbers? Are people actually opening up your emails? Again, it could be 50 that you have their emails, but maybe only 25 of them are actually picking up the emails and watching the videos. So again, you see that funnel's going down even tighter. People are wandering off to go do certain things. Finally, it comes down to the sales. You've done your webinar, you've invited your email list. How many people bought? Was it one? Was it two? If it's done two, you've probably sold 2 low-cost products right now. Not bad. Not bad for 6 or 7 weeks on this program. Better than a sharp stick in the eye, as my grandma used to say. This is what your funnel looks like. Started off with 1,000 people hearing about what you said. 150 made it to your website to find out more. Only 50 gave you the email address. Of those people, half of them never even read your emails. 25 actually showed up to your webinar and 2 bought your product. And that is a great way to look at your funnel. And it's important to look at these numbers on a regular basis, no matter how painful they are to look at. Of course, we want this number to be 200 or 2,000, but the truth is it takes time, it takes investment, and it takes a really tight funnel not to drip out all of these people. And so if you're not getting the results you want, something is breaking down at one part or at multiple parts of this funnel. And so the sooner you can try to fix it and tailor it, the more success you'll have. And again, go by the numbers. The numbers don't lie, and they'll tell you which part of your funnel is suffering. And again, we do this exercise on a weekly basis here, and sometimes I don't want to hear the results because it's very humbling to know that you're not getting all the people that you think you're getting on your list. Now, let's look at some quick industry standards just to give you a guide. For the industry, out of 100 people, most people can sell maybe one of those, maybe a half of one of those, all right? It takes that many leads. So if you've actually got 2 sales from this many email addresses, you're doing pretty well. The point here is that you need to get lots more in the top of the funnel, and you need to keep them all the way down. The pros at this are selling 2 or 3 products for every 100 emails they have. So keep in mind, it really is a numbers game. And the only way to really improve your revenue are 3 things. 1, get more emails, get more people in your group. You can actually make more revenues by increasing the price of your product or just offer more sales, more webinars. And those are the ways that you can really grow your business. So always be thinking about growing the audience, offer more products, and raise your prices by going up to the prime offering. And that's why that's super important to do. So I want you to take some action right now. I want you to go ahead and write down those metrics. I want you to talk about your overall reach, unique visitors to your website, how many people are opting into your email, what's your email open rate, as in how many people are actually opening them, and then how many actual customers do you have. I want you to post this in the private Facebook group. Again, be cool with your numbers, be comfortable with them. They will only go up from here, but if we don't know where we're at, we don't know where we're gonna go. So look at these numbers and you can already start seeing where you can try to make some improvements here. You understand this life cycle, so you can see we've got to get this prime offering introduced sooner than later. And this is exactly how you're going to build your business, constantly iterating. I will do this process this year probably 6 different times, and we're fairly mature. And great companies really follow this lifestyle to the letter. And so jump in there, give me your numbers, and I'll see you on the next video. As you can see, goal setting is essential. And so what we're gonna do on this part is we're gonna set out our 6-month goals. But before we do this, I really wanna get in touch with our real reasons. And so I want you to go ahead and fill out the reflection form. And this is gonna be you looking back on the last 8 weeks of this incredible experience. You're gonna look at the things you learned, the customers that you heard about, the people you helped, all the great things you did. You battled resistance, you published vlogs and videos of yourself, you set up a website, you created a 3-part video series, a low-cost product. You ran most likely your very first webinar, you reached out to partners, you wrote a blog. I mean, wow. You have probably grown more in the last 8 weeks than maybe even the last 8 years, and you've really connected with your passion and helping people. And so I really want you to fill out this reflection form and think about those things. Think about the highs, the lows, the resistance, the thing you struggle with, the things you're really proud of, and really think about the value you're adding to the world and the fact that you're able to express your passion through this business, because that's what it's all about, in my opinion. So go ahead, fill out that form, and it'll help you really reflect on what's happening. Once you've done that, I want you to go for a walk, a long walk. And this is a 3-hour walk, and I want you to leave your phone at home. Yes, I know it's a crazy concept, but I really want you to be with these thoughts because I think great business comes from passion and purpose. And the only way to really connect with that is to know what's in your heart. And sometimes we're always buzzing around in our head as far as what we have to do or these numbers or this or that. So I want you to take that long 3-hour walk and just think about your future. Think about what your life looks like with that new business and really come to peace with what you want out of your life by jumping in and making this really your prime mission. So go ahead for that long walk. When you're done with that, I want you to go for a workout. Do some hard training. Do a burpee session. Do a 30-minute cardio kettlebell session. Go for a run. Something that really gets the blood pumping. Grab a shower, and then I want you to sit down. And then I want you to create your business plan. Super important to do that here. And to do that, I want you to look at your 6-month goals for your business. And so you're going to sketch out what you want to accomplish over the next 6 months. But I also want you to think about what is your business going to give you as a person? What is it going to give you? Freedom, the way to actually connect with people and connect with customers, the way that you can make their life better, the way that you can magnify your message for the world. It's very important to look at a business that way. Because for me, sure, London Real can potentially pay the bills, but it also is a great outlet for me to connect with people, for me to have partnerships with people, for me to create amazing content, touch people's lives. So I really think it's important for you to sketch out what you're doing over the 6 months and what you're getting out of it as well. So that's really, really important. And I want you to break it up into monthly goals. Very important. Say, what do I want to get in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, and 6? And that means audience, sales. When do you want your prime offering product to be created? How many low-cost products do you want to sell? What's a major partnership you want to get done? Maybe in a certain month you want to quit your day job. Maybe you want to hire your first employee. But put all of these metrics in that 6-month plan. Really important because what gets measured gets accomplished. So stick them in there and put specific dates on there. Maybe it's the end of the month, the 30th, the 1st of the month when you have these things done. Again, super important that you map these things out, but I'd also at the same time, I want you to focus on the efforts. So maybe it's gonna be you're gonna have 10 blog posts written in 2 months. Maybe it's gonna be that you've reached out to 10 different partners. So don't just focus on the fact that you're gonna have so many sales, also focus on what you're gonna produce, the things you're gonna actually do so you don't get so caught up in the specific accomplishments. This plan is crucial. It's going to be something that I'm going to review with your team leaders, and I want you to go ahead now and I want you to post this plan. So in this whole module, first of all, you're going to have been already reflecting on everything you've done the last 8 weeks. You're going to really get a sense and really be proud of everything you've accomplished. All that resistance you overcame, all the people that told you were crazy, those Facebook posts where your friends and family said, I don't know what you're talking about, and you pushed through all that. And you got some great wins here. I want you to focus on how that made you feel and how you can 10x that in the future, and also what this business will give to you when it becomes a success. So super important with that. Go on the walk, go for the workout, then create that business plan. And I want you to go ahead now and I want you to film a video and post it in the Facebook group where you break down what you want to accomplish in the next 6 months, key metrics for you, key goals for you, partnerships, sales of your low-cost products, sales of your prime offering, first hire, second hire, partners you want to reach out to, what you see yourself doing in that 6-month period. So go ahead, film that video now, and go ahead and outline your entire business plan for those 6 months as well. Share that with your group, and there you go. That's your business plan. If you do this properly, you'll be incredibly impressed with where you're going to get in the next 6 months. Next, remember, it's always important to stay focused. Focus on your mission, focus on your passion, focus on your customers, focus on their problems and adding value to their lives, getting them over their frictions and their resistance. It's super important to do that and not stray and go into other places. At the same time, you have to listen to what they're telling you. And if they want a different product, if they want a different type of sales, if they want something else, it's time for you to go ahead and pivot and change markets and change tactics. And that could mean you post different types of videos, you go into different social media platforms, but I always want you to focus on taking your business to the next level. But always keep in mind, you're gonna have that free product, you're gonna improve your low-cost product, and you're gonna go for that prime offering. This is the ecosystem that you need to build. And always remember, you're gonna get those sales, you're gonna build the audience, you're gonna focus on better products, and you're gonna constantly reiterate. So make sure you continue on this route. Again, don't stop, go back to these modules, stay focused on what you wanna do to this world, which is bring your passion, make people's lives better, and of course, add value. Another concept I'd love to talk about is the Pareto principle. This is the 80-20 rule. And so many times we forget about it, but the rule is this, is that you get 80% of the results from 20% of the work you do. So constantly be looking what's getting you the most results and cut out the stuff that isn't. So you might be spending hours and hours every week trying to edit that perfect video to put on your Instagram, when in fact, something shot on the fly might actually do. And this could go in any of your workflows. Always look at what's really working versus what you're spending your time on, and look at it by the numbers. What gets measured gets accomplished. Look at your funnel. If the numbers aren't there, if your reach isn't converting to website traffic, isn't converting to emails, something's not working in there. So go 80-20 on it and constantly revise it. I found back in the day at London Real that I was spending a lot of time editing videos, a lot of time doing specific trailer pieces when that actually wasn't helping the revenues in my business. And what I really should do is work on the products so I could have sales, so we could hire more help here in terms of a video team, which is what we did. That was me executing Pareto principle, 80-20. What can I do best? Go and do that, which was to film programs, work on partnerships, build products, get help for the other stuff. So always think about the 80-20. What can you be doing that's the most effective work for you that day? If it's not, outsource it or cut it out completely, 80-20. Another thing you need to remember is that the biggest bully in the room oftentimes is the one in the mirror. Don't let yourself talk you out of your business, all right? And I've been there before. I'm one of the most critical people in my entire life on me. And a lot of times you can self-talk yourself into saying, oh, this isn't a business, I'm not getting anywhere, I've got to go back to my full-time work, no one's listening, no one's caring. That's really not true. If you've made it through this program, you've already touched people's lives, you've connected with people, they've consumed your free product, you probably even sold them product. If somebody pulled out their credit card and gave you money for the intellectual property in your head, you have a business here. So always remember, talk yourself up. Go into those affirmations that we talked about in the very beginning of the course and say, I'm excited and comfortable to be a successful entrepreneur that goes out there and changes the world with my business ideas. Always talk yourself up. Don't get into a bad process. And that's why I say my affirmations every day and talk about how great London Real is and how great we're going to become as a business, because honestly, the biggest bully is the one right in the mirror, and don't listen to him or her because they're full of it. Another good principle is don't do this alone. You've got your team members in your group. You've got all the people you've met on this course, but you've also got your future partners. And when you reach out and do joint ventures with these people, it really helps you get over the fact that many times as entrepreneurs, we're solopreneurs. It's hard to do this when it's just you and the laptop day after day after day, looking at that funnel thinking, what can I do? Partner with people. It's a great way to talk about ideas, to really collaborate and share experiences. So very important. Don't do this alone. Do it with partners. Do it with other members of your group. Do it with people that will hold you accountable over a long period of time, and that's super, super important. And again, always remember why you do this. Remember why you started this in the first place, because you had a passion. You wanted to share your ideas with the world, and you really wanted to change people's lives. And I really want to finish on this point because this is what makes London Real different. This is what makes this business accelerator different than all sorts of other things out there in the world and all the choices you could have taken. Because I don't want you to create this business and lie on a beach and sip cocktails the rest of your life. I want you to create a business that changes lives, that changes you, that makes you better, that makes the world better, that makes you interact with people on a regular basis, that lets you solve their problems, makes their lives better. That's really the difference, because you're out there to add value every day of the week. This is not about creating something and selling it off and riding into the sunset. This is about putting the work in every day, changing lives, making yourself a better person, and just making life amazing. This isn't just a business accelerator. The trick is, this really has been a life accelerator for you. You've become a better person. You faced your fears. You realize that people really want what's in your brain, what's in your heart, and they're willing to help fund you give your message to the world. So always remember, provide value, provide value, provide value. If you do that enough, the money will come in, the business will be there, and you can do this for more and more people. But remember, just by providing value, you make your life worth living. People will flock to you. Partners will want to be around you. People will want to come to your studio and talk about their ideas. People will want to do courses with you. People will want to buy courses from you because you're constantly doing the right thing. And that's what really this is about. So always remember your core values here. You're not just selling things. It's not just about the money. You're changing worlds with your ideas. You're changing people's lives, and you're really adding value to every single human on this earth. And if you think of it that way, you're always going to be successful, whether you're making $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million, and you will get there, because it's about this journey of you going through life and finding out all these amazing things about yourself, connecting with great people out there with great energy like me, like all the amazing peoples in your group. There are some incredible people on this course. You've got to meet them. Stay with them on this journey. Stay with your goals. Keep providing value. And I know it's going to be amazing. So as I end almost every episode of London Real, it's about the journey, and I wish you well on yours.